What's good, you guys? It's Lifestyle from LifeStyleDidIt.com. You know what I'm saying. In today's tutorial, we're going to be going over how to mix in mono. I was talking about it in one of my tutorials, and I told you guys I would do one on it, and a lot of you guys have asked for it. So, let's get straight into it. Put the headphones in, as always, you know the deal if you watch these videos. We got to get the headphones in, you know what I'm saying? Alright, cool. Alright, so I do have a beat that I finished and mixed. But I went back and, kind of put the levels back, took off some of the plugins, and I'm just going to show you guys. Basically, I already have a tutorial on how to mix a beat, how to level, how to master. This tutorial is basically just going to be explaining what mixing a mono is and why it's a good thing, and I'm going to kind of show you stuff. We're not really going to mix the beat completely. I'm going to just show you what mixing a mono can do for you. So, if we go to the mixer, most of you guys use FL Studio. So that is why I'm going to be doing mainly all my tutorials in here for producers. So this button, if you have 11, if you have 12, it's going to be somewhere down here. But this little knob right here, if you see, if we push it and go all the way to the right, and the top up here, watch what happens. We're on stereo separation. That's 100% merged, and this is 100% separated. So what this is a stereo separator. If you go to the left, you're expanding the sound out, you're widening, and if you go to the right, like I said, if you push this all the way to the right, you're taking everything and pushing it to one. So what that means is when you mix in mono, it's basically like turning one speaker off. All of your sound is going to be coming straight down the middle out of one speaker. It's kind of hard to explain because it doesn't make sense if you have two speakers, but when you merge it, it sounds like it's coming down the middle. It's just because the speakers are coming at you. You're just merging all the sound to the center. Instead of, let me put this headphone back in. Let's solo this piano and put this to normal. Right? If we go all the way over here, our piano is going to only come out the right side. If we go all the way over here, it's only going to come out the left side. If we merge this, it doesn't matter where we pan this right now because we have everything merged through the middle, so it's going to come out both headphones, if that makes sense. So what's the point in mixing in mono? When you're EQing, that's the biggest thing. If you take the whole mix and you have the whole mix playing in stereo, let's just do it like this. Right? We have everything playing. This is already leveled because I leveled it in mono, but when you're in stereo and you're leveling things, you're hearing it from both speakers. So if you have a hi-hat panned over here and a piano panned over here, it's both coming out of the speakers and it's separated. So you can't really hear, you don't need to mix in mono, but it's better because when you mix in mono and you mix low, everything's smashed together, so you're leveling everything so you can hear it perfectly. If everything's smushed in the middle, it makes it difficult, which is good because everything's so slammed in the middle that all the frequencies are building up. So what this means is in mono, if you can EQ and level everything to sound even, and then you go in, with leveling and volume, you can get everything to sound even, and then with panning, even being in mono, you're in the middle, just panning things left and right and EQing certain things that build up. Let's say you have a pad, a piano, and a guitar, and it's merged in the middle. They're all going to sound like they're clobbered together, which is a good thing. Because what that's going to allow you to do is train your ear to actually be able to EQ these sounds. And you're going to be able to EQ out, okay, all of these together have too much 500 hertz. So you're going to go on the guitar, take out maybe 500. You're going to go over to the piano and you maybe take out somewhere from 4 to 450. And now they play well together. Okay, and then you go to the other thing, I don't remember what I said, strings or pads or something, and you start to EQ that until they all sound like they're playing together, but they're not. Move! And when they're all playing together, playing well together in mono, when you actually go back and take it out of mono, they're going to separate. And it's going to sound like your mix is way wider. So instead of throwing like a stereo plug-in on all of them and widening them out and getting them to sound big that way, when you mix in mono, what you're doing is you're getting all them to sound smushed together, and while you're in mono, you're going to EQ them so that they play well with each other, so that when you take the mix out of mono, they're going to separate because they're no longer clashing together, if that makes sense. So it's easiest way to get your mixes loud, or not loud, but very separated and sounding wide without, actually widening them. It's also going to help you with kicks, 808s, and your drums to be able to level, because since everything's in the middle, you're going to be able to hear what's loud and what's quiet. And then when, I'm telling you, once you flip that knob from being in mono to just boom, right back up to the normal, Yeah, what am I trying to say? Right back up to, you know, the middle. Jesus, I can't talk. The mix is just going to widen out more because you take it out of mono. In mono, you're EQing all the sounds to play well with each other. Then, boom, you throw it back to normal, and the mix just goes, widens out. So I'll show you guys what I mean. So we're going to take this piano. I'm going to put both headphones in right now. Alright, so you see how that sounds. You hear the stereo effect of it, the reverb, everything's spread out. Now if I throw it in mono, the whole track, the master, you hear it in the middle. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Rhodes, the hit, and the bass. And let's play it in stereo. Right, that sounds good. Now watch when we throw it in mono. You can't really hear that Rhodes piano anymore because the bass line and the piano are kind of like eating it up. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to just go to this piano. Right? So in mono, you hear things differently. Mono is going to be, your phone is out of mono because it's one speaker. This iPhone, it's coming out of mono. Boom, right there. If your mix sounds bad in mono, it's going to sound really bad on the phone. If you can get the mix to sound good in mono, on the phone it's going to sound great. On anything else that is just one speaker, it's going to sound good. And then on anything stereo, the mix is going to be huge because it sounded good in mono. So anything with another speaker, it's going to be so wide because nothing's clashing in the middle. So with this, we're going to take out some lows because, like I said, I made the beat so I know that I don't want a lot of low end on this piano. It was mostly mid-range, high end. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Rhodes. So you can already hear somewhere around like 300 to 500, these are clashing. And I'll show you exactly where it's at. Watch, you'll hear the sound. See how they're clashing together? I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to go right here. And the reason I know it's 300 to 500, I've been doing this for a long time. Your ear will get trained to know where certain frequencies are. Around, you know, 300, 300, it's like a lot of... like if I, it's a lot of that. I don't know how else to explain it. Around 500 is going to give you that boxy sound. So you'll start to learn where these sounds come from. So I know it's around here. I'm going to take out about, you know, 3-4 dB. And watch, I'm going to turn it off. This is the one on the Rhodes. This is off. Turn it on. Okay, this is still in mono. So you see how much they already separated? So you already know when I flip this back to stereo, it's going to go because they're no longer clashing in the middle. So we're going to stay in mono and we're going to keep going. So on the Rhodes, we're going to take out some low end too that I don't need. There's nothing really down there. And we're going to add, let's see, we'll add a tiny bit of high end. We'll just go hunt for a nice high end. Alright, here I like, so we'll open this up a lot, bring it down, and I just want to add a little bit. Most of the time, for cuts, you want to go more of a narrow. Boost, you want to have a wide bell. If you want to know why, I could do a tutorial on that too. It's going to take a long time to explain. But basically, when you do narrow cuts, you want to just take out, you know, a narrow part. You don't want to take out a bunch of other frequencies around here. Now, when you boost, EQs are better to subtract than to boost. So the reason you want to do more of a hump like this on a boost than a narrow boost is because just the way EQs work, like I said, it'd be a long time to explain this, but just know when you do narrow EQs of boosting, it gives peaks and resonance that just sound weird, stuff that you can't really hear until your ears train too well. Just after doing it a while, you hear it. So you want to kind of just do like an open bell boost, you know, that's kind of like this and not narrow, because when you do this, you're boosting the frequency you want to boost, but you're also bringing up a little bit of the other frequency, so it's not too narrow and just piercing your ears on certain parts. Let's go to the piano EQ. Alright, let's go hunt. I still hear some boxiness in there, so we're just boost all the way up and go hunt for it and then take it out. Alright, around 500. So you see, we didn't take 500 out of both. On the Rhodes, we took out around 300, and on the piano, we took out around 500. So you don't need to follow this exact thing. You need to use your ears when you go and find what you're taking out, you know. But I'm just showing you guys in this mix, this is what I'm doing. So just kind of listen Go back and see what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. Don't just go take out 500 on yours and 300 on yours, because if you're not in the same octave as I was playing, or the same piano, or yours has a more low end than mine, then you don't want to just copy what I'm doing. You want to learn and listen to what I'm doing. Go on yours, take your frequency, a frequency band, boost it all the way up, hunt around until you find that nasty frequency, and then cut it out. Alright, so we have a hit just in the beginning. I do have a 808 and a kick in here, so I don't want this hit to have low end. I don't want it to have low end because I don't want it to take away from the kick and the 808. This is just more of like an impact sound. So I'm going to just take out around like 80 hertz so it leaves room for all the kicks and 808. But I do want to add some more body to it, so we're just going to take this and go around. Alright, around 200, I kind of like that, so let's open this up and then bring this down till we have, 3 dB. Alright, so before, after, and then we're going to bring in our bass. Okay, now on this bass, like I said, I have an 808 over here. So this bass, I took out all the low end on it because I'm just using it as an effect. It's a cool way to do it, it's a trick that I like to do. You have the 808 going, but then you have this little bass over here, but you take out all the low end. And if you guys don't know that, you're just going to think that it's this bass line, this little one with no low end, and then the 808 under, so you're kind of sitting there like, dang, how did he get those two to play together? But this literally has no bass in it. It's the 808 underneath that's dragging the whole track with the bass. This, I literally took out all the bass and just have the sound of it, the sound of that West Coast stab. With the 808 under, sounds like this. Because if I have bass in it, watch what happens. They just clash. Sounds horrible. So I take it out. I'm just using it for the effect. Okay? So that's why, if you guys are wondering, this bass has no... I took out all the bass in it. You don't want to do that. You still want your track to have bass. I just have an 808 over here that is carrying all of the bass. So anyways, it's more... I guess you can consider this more of like a piano, synth lead, something like that. It's not so much I'm not using it at all for bass. It's more of just an emphasizer for the 808. Just wanted to let you guys know that so you don't think I'm over here going fucking crazy, taking out 140 hertz on my bass. I should have called this, like, I don't know, bass with no bass. Boom. Okay, cool. So let's get back to it. Let's go here. We're still in mono. Okay, so this isn't clashing too bad with it at all. And then we do have a whistle. Let's bring in the whistle. I could tell you off the bat, I want to add some distortion, a little bit of high end on that whistle. I don't want too much of that. It has like a lower mid range that kind of just makes it sound, let's say, I mean, if you listen, it's kind of hidden underneath the track, right? We're still in mono. See, this is good. If this was stereo, you wouldn't really be able to hear that it's clashing mostly with that Rhodes piano. I can hear if I solo with the Rhodes piano and this whistle are clashing together. So in mono, I can hear that. That's why we want to mix in mono. So let's take out low end again that I don't need, because on this beat, most of my leads have more high end. They don't go too low. Okay, so I know it's around 600, 500. There's a peak. Okay, so 560 is where I hear it. Let's take that out. And then let's get some high end in here. So let's go hunt for some high end. Alright, we don't have too much high end, so that's why I said we're going to use distortion, because distortion creates harmonics. And what that means is, since there's no high end over here, you see it blank, it's right here is where the high end honestly is. If we distort it, we're going to distort here, which creates harmonic content up here. So let's go get a distortion plugin, doesn't matter what it is. This is probably going to hurt, so turn down your headphones a little bit. Alright, let's see. Alright, and then I'm going to mix this in. Okay, so without, it's very smooth, right? Now with, you hear it in the back, it kind of sounds like a guitar jumped in, and I'll show you what it did. So without, alright, this EQ after has nothing, it's just showing you visually. See, we have no content up here. Now if we turn the distortion on, you're getting a little bit more content up here. If I over exaggerate it, you'll really see it. See all those little lines? It's creating high end. Cool way to create high end if you don't have it. Okay, now we're going to emphasize that high end a little bit. We're going to just boost this all the way up, come down, say like 3. Okay, so now our leveling's good. Okay, now check this out. This is in mono, right? Watch when I flip this back to stereo. So I'm going to just reset it. The whole mix is going to just go like this. Alright, so in mono I can hear the whistles a little bit too loud. Go back to stereo. So here's mono. And stereo. Crazy. It just opened up so much. Now if I take all these plugins off, I wish this was a quicker way to do it, but there's really not. And the whistle. Okay, so let's go stereo. This is with no plugins. I'm gonna start turning them on. You're gonna hear it start to open up. We're in stereo. I'm just showing you guys what we did in mono. We got the whole thing to open up more. You wouldn't really hear that in stereo because everything's separated. So you know they need to be smooshed together in order for you to hear that they're not working together. Now once you EQ them out and then you flip back to mono, or you flip back to stereo from mono, mix opens up. Alright, now we'll just play the rest of the beat. And obviously these would need to go way up, but I just wanted to show you guys what it did on the lead when you open it up. So, take these off. That is why you want to mix in mono. That is just mixing in mono explained basically. I hope that helped you guys. Like I said, you guys can follow me on all social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, on here at LifeStyleDidIt. If you guys want mixing orders, beats, website designs, thumbnail orders, all that good stuff, hit my website, LifeStyleDidIt.com. And other than that, you know, subscribe to the family, please. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here doing all these tutorials for you guys. I love doing them. I love helping you guys. I love giving back. If you guys have any more recommendations, leave a comment below. If you guys like this video, please comment, like, rate, and subscribe. Share it. Let me know what you guys want next. Thanks.